Welcome to 5 Round MMA podcast number 13. Today's podcast is brought to you by countermove.com. On this edition of 5 Round MMA, we have a quick review of UFC on Field TV, Barao versus McDonald, and we dig deep in our preview for UFC 157, Rousey versus Carmouche. Please welcome Alex Ramirez and Albert Cita.
Thank you very much, our producer Gamble City, with that very awesome introduction. Albert, what's going on, man?
So actually, it's not going that good. I did some bets in Vegas, and let's just say it didn't come out the way I expected.
Don't bet Vegas. Countermove.com is a way to go for fantasy MMA. Win cash, pick your picks, man. Come on. Vegas, come on.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone that listened to our last podcast. With that said, let's bring in the latest news and headlines.
Nick Diaz avoiding UFC cameras as they tried to film Countdown for UFC.
They're supposed to follow him, right?
Yeah, and what's funnier is how many people live in Stockton?
They can't find Nick Diaz.
10 people?
we don't know where he's at, guys. He's not coming to train. Well, go find him. Stockton is not that big.
Just a bunch of cows. Just move them out of the way.
So this is like kind of the whole press conference no-show. So like they're going to cancel the fight now because they can't do the countdown.
But how dumb do you have to be? All you have to do is sit there. They ask you questions. Just answer it.
Yeah.
I mean, dude.
Well, Nick Diaz is his own.
And what sucks is Dan White's still going to walk on his knees, go around Nick Diaz.
And beg for him.
Dude, they need to fire him and he needs to get a reality check. He's not even that good. He couldn't be Condit. Who cares?
That's true. I just like how the camera crew can't find him. Go ask Nick Diaz where he's at. I'm pretty sure you'll find where he's at.
Chris Cyborg leaves UFC, gets first opponent booked under Invicta.
I think I have to really question Tito Ortiz's management skills. Did you hear what Dana White said about this?
Or his lack of management skills.
Yeah, so the original plan was Dana White said that they're going to sign her under a UFC contract, have all the UFC perks, and lend her to Invicta, and then that way they'll build the 145 division. But yet, Tito Ortiz said no, and said, no, we're going to sign our own solo contract to Invicta. So I don't understand what...
So basically, Tito is running his businesses like he ran his career. Right to the ground.
Vitor Belfort cleared to use TRT again in Brazil.
Nah, I don't see nothing wrong with that. If your levels are down, then the commission says you can bring them up to par.
Yeah, I can see kind of the gripe about this. I mean, if you can't train hard enough, then maybe you should stop fighting. There's kind of an advantage in your training a little bit. TRT getting kind of old there, Vitor in the so. I can see why the gripe is. But if he's been cleared by a doctor, what can he do?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's legal, what can you really do?
Can't do anything. Just like horse meat, Alice Overeem. Horse meat's legal in Denmark. He can eat in Denmark.
And the last breaking news, Paulo Thiago set to return at UFC Brazil in May.
I don't understand why should I get excited. Isn't he coming off 2 losses? He got knocked out in his last fight. Who cares? This guy was actually somebody 5 years ago. He ain't nobody now.
Very true. I got nothing more to say on that. So coming up, we'll have a full review, kind of a slight review of the UFC on full Is Barao versus Michael McDonald. So coming up, stick around.
All right, everybody. If you like what you hear out there and want to hear more of it, make sure to follow us on Twitter at 5roundmma and always check out the website 5roundmma.com.
This edition of 5 Round MMA is brought to you by countermove.com, the world's leading fantasy MMA website. Go and get your picks on at countermove.com.
Barao delivered this Saturday. Now it's time for highlights and review of UFC on Field, Barao versus McDonald.
And just like Guillermo said, I think the main event kind of lived up to his expectations. A very interesting back-and-forth battle. But, Albert, what about the undercard? Anything to stick out to you? I know you made it a point last week to bring out the James Huna and Ryan Jimmo match.
And, man, was it a fight. Ryan Jimmo did what he did best. Had him knocked down very early. The fight looked like it was going to be over. If I was the ref, I would have stopped that fight. But James Huna, a beast, he took the beating and then some, came back and won in the later of the second and third round. Won the whole fight.
Was it a unanimous decision, I believe?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? Or would you...
No, I don't, because I think that first round could have easily been a 10-8.
Yeah.
Because he knocked down James Huna very early, and he kept him on the floor very early. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, those are facts, people. Those are facts. But big credit to James Huna. But Ryan Jimmo did say that he hurt his leg during the fight in the second round.
Okay.
So we might get some controversy. Who knows? But
yeah, I'm pretty sure these guys will meet down the line again.
They both show that they belong in the main cards, and there's good fights to come.
Yeah, so the people, the new blood in the light heavyweight division, not just this kind of same old guys have been recycling over. So these guys are kind of up and coming, along with Alexander Gustafsson. So new generation of light heavyweight fighters.
Yeah, and if Club Swanson was a stock, this is the time to purchase. Because this guy is on the rise. Even though he does have the devastating loss against Jose Aldo, that double knee to the face.
Yeah, that's kind of like what's famous for, right? The highlight
yeah,
keeps showing over and over again.
But he is on a massive tear. And I mean, Dustin Poirier ain't no joke.
Yeah.
And Cub Swanson's looking better and better each fight. I don't know if he's taking Greg Jackson's advice because he's actually doing good.
Yeah, featherweight bout kind of, as we all know right now that the division's kind of clogged with Pettis and Aldo, so I think these guys are gonna kind of be floating around a little bit on the surface, and then once that clears up, you think he's ready, like for another title shot? You think?
No, I think 1 or 2 more fights, and then maybe. But
even if Aldo's still champion,
I'm hoping Aldo's not the champion. That's what I'm saying. 2 or 3. But the main event, wow. I don't care. I've read some stuff online. Everyone's trying to say like Can Barao destroyed Michael McDonald. Man,
it was a fight. It wasn't. It was
first
a fight.
of all,
Barao got cut, and it was a pretty good cut. So.
Yeah, Michael McDonald had him hurt early.
That was a good fight.
He made a dumb mistake. I mean, the kid's only 21, 23.
The later rounds he got frustrated. Yeah. You could tell.
And he did a desperate move to do a judo flip, and Can Barao got the better position and ended up getting the submission. But there's no way you can't say Michael McDonald was not in the fight. There's no way you can say that Michael McDonald could have won that fight. And Can Barao,
I think you just proved the point that he's number one bantamweight in the world because Dominick Cruz is out.
And he's so young.
Yeah.
For what he did is pretty impressive.
Yeah. I know the rumor online going is that they're trying to set up a Dominick Cruz, Renan Barao unification this summer if Dominick Cruz is healthy. Now, do you think Renan Barao is a bad matchup for Cruz? The very elusive Dominick Cruz always jumping and always moving, constantly moving in the octagon.
Renan Barao, he's so aggressive,
very diverse too. I think.
And the one thing that we do know is Dominick Cruz has lost by submission. I mean, you're right. The Urijah Faber guillotine choke's probably up there as far as one of the best wins over Dominick Cruz.
Yeah.
So Renan Barao
ain't no joke.
Yeah, in the submission game. So
yeah, so hopefully in the summertime we could finally see the unification bout, almost like a dream matchup for UFC.
Yeah, but I doubt it. I think Dominick's gonna get hurt
or stay hurt anyways. All right, so coming up we'll have a full preview, dig deep on UFC 157, Rousey versus Carmouche. Stick around.
All right, everybody. If you like what you hear out there and want to hear more of it, make sure to follow us on Twitter at 5roundmma and always check out the website 5roundmma.com. 5round MMA is brought to you by sportscenetv.net. Get all your prep school sports information at sportscenetv.net. 5round MMA is brought to you by True Athletes Training Systems. Unlock your inner athlete at trueathletes.com.
The UFC will be making history with the women's headlining UFC 157, Rousey versus Carmouche.
History in the making next Saturday. But first, we're going to go over the undercard. I guess, first of all, Chad Mendes was scheduled to fight Manny Gambarian.
Yeah, Manny.
But Manny got hurt, and they couldn't find a replacement in time for Chad Mendes.
Because nobody wants to step up and face Chad Money Mendes. That's why.
Clay Guida stepped up.
Okay.
2 months from now.
Yeah. Nice step up.
So, in a very curious move, the UFC decided to bump Josh Neer versus Court McGee onto the pay-per-view viewing. So, if you want to see Court McGee against Josh Neer, you got to pay for it, people. Albert, what do you think about that?
I think Joe Silva just needs to get my personal number and just give me a call because this is ridiculous. Court McGee is in a 2-fight losing streak.
So is
Josh Neer is in a 2-fight losing streak. Why would anybody in the right mind care? Unless the stipulation here is loser gets fired from UFC.
Well, no, Court McGee is the Ultimate Fighter winner, so maybe that's why he has a name. Maybe I don't know.
No, these belong in the Facebook fights. This is ridiculous.
Not even the FX card.
No.
Oh wow.
Facebook. Joe Silva, give me a call, bro. This is ridiculous now.
So maybe from the undercard from the FX card, you see should have been bumped up. I mean, you got a heavyweight bout, Brandon Schaub against LeVar Johnson. That's heavyweights always kind of tend to draw big.
Yeah, but there's only one problem. You have Brandon Schwab, or how do you say it, Guillermo?
Brandon Schaub.
Yeah, there's a reason why I don't know your name. Because he's coming off of 2 losses. LeVar Johnson's coming off a loss. You know what would have made sense?
What?
To put Todd Duffy into this mix right here. Everybody knows you want to see heavyweight. You want to see come and see Todd Duffy.
You got to see the Duff man.
Matter of fact, I would have put Brandon and LeVar versus Todd Duffy, so 2-on-1.
Oh God!
But what do I know?
Hey,
but they should have put the Dennis Bermudez fight in the main card. I mean, Dennis Bermudez is undefeated in the UFC. He has a 2-fight winning streak right now. He didn't win the Ultimate Fighter, but he was a finalist.
Yeah.
He deserves to be in the main card, and that should have been in the main card. So Court McGee and Josh Neer, who are both coming off 2-fight losses.
Yeah, and it's a lower division weight class, so it's going to be exciting.
They really do need to bump up those lower classes, too.
Yeah, Court McGee, Josh Neer, I'm not too sure. But and then also another curious bout that really doesn't have any weight to it is Josh Koscheck versus Robbie Lawler. Kind of like... let's say if Josh Koscheck wins, what does that do for? I mean, it doesn't really do anything.
What if Robbie Lawler wins? What does that do anything? Let me give you some facts real quick, all right?
Okay.
First of all, Robbie Lawler is coming off a loss against Larkin, and in his last.
I think Robbie Lawler's best days are behind him. Anyway.
Yeah, his last 4 fights, he went 1-3. 1-3. Who cares? Matter of fact, you need to go all the way down on Facebook. Josh Koscheck, same thing. Josh Koscheck's coming off of a loss. You know what that means? That means FX headliner. This is garbage for someone to think that they could put this in the card. But you know why?
Why?
The only thing that's going to save this is my boy, Leoto, the Dragon Machida.
Oh, you're skipping ahead now. Hold on.
I know, but I get excited when I hear the Machida.
So after those two kind of strange pay-per-view bouts, pay-per-view, you got to pay to see these, by the way. Got a pretty good one, a bona fide star in Urijah Faber.
Yeah.
Against
That's the
Ivan
one thing.
Menjivar.
Love him, hate him, Urijah comes and fights. So
brings it every time.
Yeah.
Coming off of a loss.
Yeah, and this is supposed to be a ranking fight too, because Ivan Menjivar is ranked number 10, and Urijah Faber is up there in the top 5.
Yeah. So kind of a big fight. I mean, if Menjivar could come out and score a win, I think it's a big
actually, Menjivar is in his last 6 fights, he's 5-1. So I mean, it should be an interesting fight. It should mean something, unlike the fights below it.
Yeah. And speaking of meaning something, a big, huge, light heavyweight showdown, which originally was the main event, I believe, to this card, right?
People, do not adjust your volume. That little tremble you heard was the return of the dragon.
Lyoto Machida. And also, give Hendo some credit, man. Coming back from an injury.
Look, I love Dan Henderson, but come on. It's the Machida hour right now. Machida all time. Machida's gonna win this fight. Gonna get a KO on Dan Henderson.
KO?
He's gonna be the first person ever to KO Dan Henderson in his granite chin.
Now, can we quote you on that?
You can quote me. You can state it. Matter of fact, bring it up next podcast because it gets the CETA approval.
Wow. So, then let's talk about ring rust being a big issue. I mean, GSP brought it up in his fight with Carlos Condit. Dan Henderson hasn't fought in a long time. I mean, ring rust and Little Machida, is that a bad combination, do you think?
It's a horrible combination. But the thing is, I don't think the ring rust is really going to affect Dan Henderson. I think he's used to taking such long periods of time in between his fights.
That's true.
Especially towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
He has been taking less fights in longer distance. So I don't think that's going to affect him as much as we want. But he is going to be very rusty. And again...
the elusive Machida, I mean, like...
Yeah, Machida is just going to be too quick, too fast.
He gave John Jones trouble, and John Jones fought 3 times that year before he fought Machida. So, what do you think Henderson has to do to be successful against Machida? I mean, Machida has had success against wrestlers, Rashad Evans, Tito Ortiz, Randy Couture, and Dan Henderson has a wrestling background. So, takedown or just stand and bang with them?
Look, he has 2 options. One, he has to clip him with one of those H-bombs somehow, close the distance and land that big punch he has, or... he has to do what Randy Couture couldn't do, and that's get the clinch, put him against the fence, and then dirty box him. I mean, that's what John Bone Jones did, and he helped out.
Yeah.
But like you said, the reason Lyoto Machida has such success against wrestler is because these guys are forced to stand with them, and you're in his world.
Yeah.
Wrestlers want to be in the ground. You're in Machida's world, and most likely you don't get KO.
And winner should be number 1 contender, lightweight, heavyweight title, you think?
Yeah. It's 100%. Whoever wins out of this should fight next against Chael Sonnen. Oh, whoa. Did I just jump the gun?
Oh, hold on.
Did I jump the gun?
Technically, right now, John Jones has a belt.
Yeah. But winner should face the champion.
And then the big one, the main event, history in the making, Ronda Rousey versus Liz Carmouche.
Let me tell you why it's going to be history in the making. because it's gonna be the first ever women's fight and the last.
They already scheduled.
Misha Tate's already scheduled. It doesn't matter because Liz Carmouche is gonna win and get the upset.
So okay, with your theory, is the women's division in UFC on the shoulders of Ronda Rousey? If she loses, does the whole thing just crumble down?
Yeah, because they're gonna go into like red zone
panic mode.
Because
Liz Carmouche, she can't be our champion.
Once Liz Carmouche wins, Dana White's gonna be flipping. What did I just get myself into? Wow. And what am I gonna do with this women's division?
Yeah, I wonder if it's almost like maybe a whirlwind for Ronda Rousey. She's been like on every magazine, she's done like a ton of interviews since then. I mean, kind of like she already have time to prepare to fight, but
it's what happens when you put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, we shall see.
The proof is in the pudding.
But should be an exciting fight. Girls always bring it, so. Women always bring. I'm sorry, women. I call them girls. I'm so sorry, women. I'm so sorry, women. All right, so staff pick. Want to go staff picks?
Let's do it.
All right, let's start with Court McGee against Josh Neer. Who do you got, Albert?
I got a double knockout. It doesn't matter who wins.
So our producer Guillermo Cena. Who do you got?
I got Court McGee.
Yeah, I got Court McGee, Ultimate Fighter winner. Josh Koscheck against Robbie Lawler. Albert, go.
I can't pick. I'm probably going to take a nap at this point or use the bathroom. I can care less. So I'm using my veto powers, and I'm not picking this one.
NA for Albert. I got Josh Koscheck. Cleaner stand-up.
I got Josh Koscheck as well.
And as I exit the bathroom, I finally get to pick somebody. I got Urijah Faber, of course, over Ivan Menjivar.
Yeah, I got Faber, too. I think he's going to come back stronger. Guillermo?
Yeah, I got Faber as well.
And the big one to Albert, the main event to Albert.
This is the main event.
Lyoto Machida against Dan Henderson.
This is a no-brainer because when man meets dragon, dragon always wins. So, of course, I'm going with Lyoto Machida.
I don't know. I think he's seen a couple movies. Well, Pete's Dragon. He was hanging out with the dragon.
You watched the wrong one.
I got Machida, too. I think, to me, it's just the kind of the ring octagon rust and Machida's elusive style. I think he won't be able to phase Dan Henderson. Dan Henderson's not going to be able to overcome it. Cameron, who do you got?
Did you guys see that meteorite that hit Russia? That was the H-bomb.
H-bomb.
H-bomb is coming for Lyoto Machida.
Good thing that the dragons eat H-bombs for dinner.
Okay. Main event now. Ronda Rousey and Liz Carmouche. Guillermo, who do you got?
I got Ronda Rousey.
Albert?
I'm going to go with the biggest upset in 2013. Liz Carmouche is going to win.
I got Ronda Rousey. I think her judo's going to overcome everything, I think. Same old thing. Lasts about 5 seconds. Armbar submission. What are you going to do? But anyway, I think it's pretty much for today, right? Today? Anything else? No?
No, that covers up the whole card here.
All right. So stick around next week. Check back in. We'll have a full review of UFC 157, Rousey versus Carmouche. We'll also have a preview of UFC on Fuel TV, Silva versus Stan, the big one in Japan. And make sure to follow us on Twitter at 5roundmma. Subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube. And check out the website, 5roundmma.com. Albert, you got some final words?
Yeah, I want to give a shout-out to the person that won our Counter Move tournament.
Countermove.com.
His name is Mike McNasty. So congratulations for winning our first ever Counter Move.
Thank you for everybody who signed up. We really appreciate it.
It means a lot. And I also want to say thank you to our executive producer, Anthony Soriana, our producer, Guillermo Cita, and unfortunately, our usual sound engineer, Ali Latrali, couldn't make it, but we had an awesome substitute. They call him Big and Game.
And that's about it. Mystery around Big Game. Just know that he's Big Game.
Thank you for listening.
Congratulations, Guillermo.